Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has not so friendly bad guys who like to give him a bit of a chase. So let's talk about some of the most iconic ones we know so far.
I guess I was followed. Oh no.
Get out of here, dude.
One of the first villains Miles Morales faced upon his debut in the Ultimate Universe was the Ultimate's version of Mac Gargan, or Ultimate Scorpion. He decided to ditch his old animal suit and become a gang lord instead, using a chain with a hook instead of a robotic tail. He wanted to become the new Kingpin of crime, but before he could do that, Miles stopped him in his tracks. Crossbones is an incredible marksman, even in the Ultimate Universe. He wanted to end Spider-Man for good, and it got to the point where Miles couldn't handle it alone anymore. Wilson Fisk was one of the first enemies players took down in Marvel Spider-Man, and then he made his return in the Miles Morales spin-off. In the game, Miles had moved to Harlem, and he noticed things were a bit fishy in his new neighborhood. Upon investigating, Miles realized Kingpin was trying to take over areas of Harlem, and he also found out that Kingpin was actually commanding his crew from prison. Hammerhead is more of a gangster, and he has done some awful things. But these things get noticed by the underworld, and that's how he moves up the ranks. This Marvel villain put one of Miles' friends, Bombshell, in the hospital. Angered, Miles wanted revenge. In their fight though, Miles realized how strong Hammerhead really was, and only hoped that his bones wouldn't break. Miles was able to eventually defeat the gangster, but he kinda just made himself another lifelong enemy. Mysterio was able to appear in the Ultimate Universe by using advanced technology to operate his avatar within that universe. And Miles realized that Mysterio was from Earth 616. However, this was a great opportunity for a crossover, as Miles and Peter joined forces for the first time. They defeated Mysterio, dismantling his operations and destroying his tech before it destroyed both universes. Out of all the different versions of Hobgoblin, Miles got to face off against the original one, and by that I mean Roger Kingsley. Hobgoblin gained his incredible strength due to a modified version of the Goblin formula, which made him even stronger than the Green Goblin. After coming in contact with an arcane spider totem, Madame Swarm experienced a horrific mutation that made her appearance quite terrifying. She had a really unhealthy obsession for power, and she knew how to cause destruction at the highest level. Even with the help of Spider-Man Noir, Miles had to fight really cautiously against her swarm of deadly bees. Now, Rhino might not have any amazing superpowers, but his physique is strong enough to give any superhuman a bad day. He might not be all bad since he did team up with Miles to defeat Tombstone. Although, I guess he did change his mind. Simon Krieger. Krieger was a corrupt businessman who would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. He stole the deadly new form technology and tried to capture Miles so he could reverse engineer his spider powers. Thankfully though, Miles was able to stop Krieger before he could use Miles as a test subject and destroy Harlem. Miles had to fight Sandman because of Iron Spider's Sinister Six. Beating someone like Sandman isn't easy though, and it really doesn't help when he has cover from other supervillains. Taskmaster has been hired on multiple occasions to bring down either Miles Morales or Peter Parker, engaging both heroes in battle with him. Taskmaster later becomes a target when he starts working with Cardinal, and this makes him one of Miles Morales' greatest reoccurring threats. As one of Spider-Man's oldest villains, Insomniac's version showed the Tinkerer as Miles' childhood friend named Finn Mason. When Roxxon killed her brother Rick, she decided to use her technical genius to stop the evil corporation. As the Tinkerer, she created powerful weaponry using programmable matter to give herself defensive and offensive capabilities. Prowler became a more well-known villain of Miles Morales due to his appearance in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The man behind the purple suit in the Ultimate Universe was Aaron Davis, Miles Morales' uncle. When the Prowler arrived in the 616 reality, he actually briefly became the Iron Spider. However, he eventually switched back to being the Prowler, making himself a new costume as he tried to reform. The symbiote in the Ultimate Universe was created in an experiment that went wrong. Miles' first encounter with the symbiote was when it bonded with the evil doctor, Conrad Marcus. His role in the creation of the spiders that gave Miles his powers was almost exposed. The Assessor is a powerful intelligence that used the Space Stone-powered Quantum to kidnap Miles and extract his DNA to make clones. He created 3 different clones during Miles Morales' own clone saga. We had known the Spot as a B-list villain until he showed up in Across the Spider-Verse, but because of Miles destroying the Collider, he got caught in the explosion, which turned him into the Spot. Because of this, the Spot set out to increase his powers to get his revenge on Miles. And who knows what that's going to bring us in the next movie. Raneem Rashad, the Rabble. Raneem set out for revenge on Miles when he got the final spot at Brooklyn Vision's Academy instead of her. Rabble used her unique abilities of technopathy to power villains against Miles. Imagine a scenario where an army of symbiotes are unleashed upon all heroes and villains by a null-enhanced Carnage. Well, this was exactly what happened during the Absolute Carnage event, and Miles was one of the first heroes to fall victim to this. Eventually though, Miles was able to retake control of the symbiote and use it against Dark Carnage. If there's anyone who can just end Miles Morales, it's the quote-filled Dr. Doom, whose intimidating stature is no joke. Victor Von Dam gained a whole arsenal of incredible abilities after his exposure to the same dimension that gave the Fantastic Four their powers. Miles had to fight together with the all-new Ultimates in order to stop Dr. Doom in his tracks, which eventually ended with Miles being able to deliver a powerful punch to the armored villain. After returning to his original reality, Peter Parker discovered a version of Miles in his universe, who was actually a hardened criminal working alongside Kingpin. The depth of this Miles Morales' love made him visit the Ultimate Universe to find a multiversal version of her. Peter Parker and the Ultimate Miles Morales stopped his counterpart's plans, but he didn't give up there, as he turned back as Ultimatum, using gear from some of the most powerful members of the Ultimates. This made him one of Miles' most iconic and dangerously powerful enemies. So which one of these villains was your favorite? Do you think I missed the one you were waiting for? Well, let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching!